What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. We've got a packed show for you today. And when I say packed, I absolutely mean it this time. First off, we got to talk about, obviously, some of the attack options Juventus are looking at. Raspadori and Zaniolo, we know. But then we go on to talk about the SMS hype train is still going. 3 days strong. It looks like that news is serious. And then we got to move on talking about the left-back situation. And then finally, stick around. You've got to stick around for the end of the video. Allegri decides, some Allegris, they just want to see it all burn. And that's what Allegri had to do with some comments that he made. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today, it's Thursday, April 7th, 2022. And of course, I got your latest round on all things Juventus. I haven't said it yet, but my name is Justin Sofro. If you don't know, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Justin Sofro, Bianconeri Zone as well at Bianconeri Zone. Before we do anything though, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. Let's dive into it, because like I said, it's a packed show. There's a lot of news that we're gonna run through, and you're gonna wanna stick around for this. All right. First one we have here is talking about Raspadori and the options there in the attack of what Juventus are really looking at. Giovanni Albanese reported that Juventus are on the trail of Raspadori. Recent contacts, he is considered one of the ideal profiles to overhaul the offensive department. We've known this. Obviously, we've seen it kind of, I don't want to say the news about him has kind of cooled down the last couple of days, but you haven't had that constant bombardment of Raspadori to Juventus that you had earlier in the week or even last week. We'll see how this continues to develop. But anyway, more comments on here going off of that. Gazzetta dello Sport goes in and says Juventus are now serious about signing Raspadori, who is valued at 30 million euros by Sassuolo. More contacts expected in the coming days. Not really a lot of updates that I really want to say, but what I do want to say, and this kind of goes along with some of the things we've seen rumored out there when it comes to the different options Juventus are looking at. This is one with Sassuolo. We've seen the name of Frattesi out there. Obviously, Inter are interested in them, as are Juve. I kind of still feel like during this Mercado, because there's going to be so many different little pieces that Juventus are going to be trying to get, I don't see more than one player. I don't see purchases made of more than one player from a club. So I feel like, to me, I strongly feel this way. I could be wrong, but I feel like if it's Raspadori, Frattesi, ignore him, and so on and so on. That's kind of how I view it. We'll see if that develops that way. But it looks like right now, the idea of Raspadori is becoming more and more concrete. And I think he's a pretty good option there to kind of replace what you get from Dybala as an attacker, as a high-energy kind of guy. I think that's really a guy that you got to look at seriously in the Mercado. All right, next up, we got to kind of go, this is related to it, and it's Gazzetta dello Sport, who's also reporting, basically saying that the club is thinking about adding 2 attacking players to the squad. That's why the idea of both Raspadori and Zaniolo coming in cannot be ruled out. Nicolo is very much liked by the club. So that's an interesting development. I think maybe we kind of floated this a little bit in some of the lives and some of the conversations we've had here on the channel. How likely, or is it even possible to get Zaniolo and Raspadori? Gazzetta dello Sport think it's definitely possible. It's definitely an option. And the one thing, as much as, people, I don't want to say bash, but, obviously Gazzetta dello Sport, not always a good relationship when you think about the way they talk about Juve and all that. But there is one lady there, that Fabiana there, she knows what she's talking about. She's got good sources. She figures it out, and she knows the inner workings. She reported Vlahovic. Right, she got that done. I tend to kind of believe what she's going to say when she says it, so we'll see. I know the thoughts that permeate when it comes to Big Z, and his name will be Big Z when it comes to Juventus. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one. Okay, next up, we're back on the hype train, baby, and that's because we're back on the SMS, Milinkovic-Savic news, and we got to continue. This is the 3rd day in a row, and that hype's building. I know a lot of you guys are excited about it. Giovanni Albanese is reporting, saying that watch out for Milinkovic-Savic, who could be the player sacrificed by Lazio in the next Calcio Mercato season. And then the other part is Gazzetta dello Sport, again, they're just on fire today, saying Lazio are now open to letting Savic go for around 70 million euros. Contacts between Juve and his manager have been frequent over the last few days. The next step is opening talks with Lazio. That's the big bugaboo, right? Obviously, to begin with, Juventus have been very interested in getting this player for a long, long time. As reported, Cherubini and Arriva Bene are crazy for him, right? They're pazza, or whatever, when it comes to getting him. They want to get him, and I think that Juventus will do what they can right now. If it seems like it's a possibility, they will throw their resources into it. But, like I said, and it's a big but, is that of Lotito. And will he be open to working on a deal with Juventus? Obviously, there's going to be other suitors. I'd imagine you'd have Premier League clubs. I'd imagine the usual suspects will be in the list, right? The Manchester Uniteds, the PSGs, all of those will be in the list, waiting in the wings, trying to get him as well. It's all just this courtship between like three clubs for like 3 or 4 players, right? Anyway, we'll see what happens. But if Juventus can get serious about this deal and get it done, he would be a fantastic player to add to the midfield. Like probably the best option, I think, currently. Let's continue on though. Like I said, more news. You're going. If my analytic reading of the channel and the way people like to hear news about stuff, today should be a show for you guys. All right. Next up is Alvaro Morata. This is not it, but just bear with me. We gotta get through the other news, right? Eat your vegetables to get to the dessert. This is Morata. Some updates on his situation. Gazzetta dello Sport reporting that Juventus will offer Atletico 15 million euros plus 3 million euros max. Atletico are not interested in keeping Alvaro, but are also not really open to hand out a big discount. So they don't really want him, but of course they don't want to lose potential money. They don't want to leave it on the table when it comes to Juventus, which is understandable. But if Juventus can get a deal done for, I think this right now, this is about 18 million euros, seems to be a really good number. I'd even go if they have to 20, just because he seems to be an integral part to play alongside. That of Vlahovic, but also when you lost Dybala already, it's going to be hard. You don't want to replace 2 pieces if you lose him as well. Mirko De Natale also comments on this, saying that Lopez, Morata's agent, is working hard to find a common solution. There are 2 hypotheses: renewal of the loan or a sale for a sum close to 20 million euros. What is certain at the moment is that Simeone doesn't want Morata or Saul back there anymore. So we'll see how this pans out again. I think more than likely you're going to see Morata stay with the club at least for another season, even if it's just another loan, and then maybe they can try to figure that out in the next summer mercado. We'll see how that pans out. Maybe that'll be better on the books financially for Juventus if they want to use it to really invest seriously in the players that they're looking at, obviously in the midfield, obviously in the left back situation and all that. We'll see. We'll have to monitor this as it develops. Speaking of the left back situation, and that's where I know a lot of you guys will want to hear about, basically Gazzetta dello Sport's reporting saying that Juventus want to move on from Sandro, and if an offer comes in the club, we'll open talks. Alonso, Palmieri, and Vindal are all names on the list. So that's some of the names there that obviously could come in to replace Alexandro. I know a lot of people are not excited about Palmieri being an option, but Is he worse than Alexandro? You have to let me know. I may not be the greatest. I'm not a scout. I'm not a scout out there, so I can't really tell you. But I can't tell you what I've seen from Alexandro, and it ain't good. All right. Next one up, Tutto Sports there, talking about the left back situation, saying that Juventus are still eyeing that of the prospect Lodi as a replacement for Sandro, who is on the move in the summer. Lodi's another option that I do like. I like what I saw, of course, the first time that he was even mentioned with Juventus. I think that it may have been that evening or that next day after we had done the video. I think he had gotten a nice little brace there for his club there as well. So nice to see that from the left back position there. And then also, Tutto Sport kind of corroborating this, saying that the club likes Lodi the most out of all the options, but the asking price is around 40 million euros, and that's why the club's also looking at Vindal, who is valued at around 20 million euros, so he's a cheaper option. We've talked about Vindal for a while on the channel as an option. He doesn't excite me nearly as much personally, but I understand a lot of people out there may be thinking, well, when it comes to the left back, just get me somebody that's not Alexandro. I can't do another season of Alexandro, right? All right, let's continue it on. Also, and this is another one, it's kind of related, kind of maybe not, but Gazzetta dello Sport's reporting saying that Juventus are in pole position for Molina, with Udinese asking for 30 million euros. However, in the last weeks, Atletico are also shown interest. So obviously, he is the Argentinian right back player. And his first name, I apologize, I'm not even going to try to say it. Nahuel. I'm going to try to say it. Okay, I guess I'll try to say it. Crush me in the comments. Nahuel. Anyway, Molina, he's an Argentinian player, right back. He is 24 years old, so good age range. That plays right back. Could he play the left back as well? I don't know too much about that personally, but it's an option to look at moving into the future for Juventus. All right, and then let's get to these other like final bits and pieces here, and there's some very interesting ones. So like I said, stick with this video. First up, obviously, this is the least interesting one. It's about Moise Kean. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Moise Kean's 2-year loan will turn into an obligation when certain goals have been reached at 28 million euros. However, if a club is willing to match the conditions Everton is set, then Juve will not hold back a move. So basically what we're saying is if PSG are willing to pay that kind of money to get him, because it's PSG. PSG are the ones that are interested in signing him long-term there at the club. If PSG are willing to sign him for that amount of money, for that same deal, Juventus will let him walk. Again, we talked about it yesterday. PSG are going to need to move Icardi. And that's the thing. They got to move Icardi, which, of course, long rumored at Juventus. But he's not coming to Juventus now, mainly because it is what it is right now. Or not, it is what it is. We have Vlahovic. Way better option. We have Vlahovic. We are good to go. Next one up is for my, partially for my Canadian compadres, right? La Stampa is, I don't know why I used a Hispanic term there for Canadians. Anyway, whatever. I don't know French. I'm not going to do French, right? La Stampa reporting that Juventus are showing concrete interest in Brian Cristante, who could leave Roma. He's valued at about 15 million euros. I've seen that this has kind of been floated out there a few times within the last few weeks or so. It's been kind of a weak, soft little whisper one about Cristante. This is, again, he's a midfielder, obviously. He's 27 years old, plays for the Italian national team. Also has some, I believe he has a Canadian citizenship, or at least he can play for the Canadian national team through his dad. So I know a lot of Canadian people view him as one of their own. Maybe Julian's over here just, championing him to come out here. We will see. But for right now, this is the way it stands for this. We'll see what happens with him and how he, if that ends up being an option for Juventus here in the near future. We'll keep an eye on that. And then the last bit of news of the day. We got to talk about it. Allegri spoke with Juventus News24.com. I think it was them that were reporting it. But somebody asked him about the youth product of what Juventus have in the youth sector. And it may make some of your all's heads explode. He basically said, in Italy, for some years now, there have been a tendency to consider youngsters champions after 2 to 3 games. I don't know why I did it like that. Let's try that again. There's been a tendency to consider youngsters champions after 2 to 3 games. But this way, you go too fast. You're going too fast with these guys, right? A 20-year-old footballer cannot have the maturity of a 28-year-old. And it's basically Allegri dropping a deuce on the idea, the premise of Juve going at least under his administration, for a younger player, or for a younger development of Italian players, of the bringing up players from the Primavera or whatever have you. He's telling you, I'm not going to do it. Be happy with what you're getting. You're getting older players because they're more mature, they're more experienced. That's what I want. But I'm not going to buy in. I'm not going to do the Fagioli route. I'm not going to do the Miretti route, maybe. People like me who want to see more Miretti, he's not doing it. So it's frustrating, but this is what you have, guys. And this is where you sit right now with it. And that's what he's pretty strong on it. And that's what I want to hear your thoughts when it comes to this, because I saw that and it hit me like a truck. I was like, right now, you're really going to come out there and basically combat, the Fagioli comments and, the agent also just saying about how they don't get a chance at Juventus in Italy. They don't get a chance. And instead of saying, maybe Because there's a groundswell. A groundswell of people that want to see the Italian youth, especially after missing the World Cup and knowing what you have out there. You need to have more guys develop so that way we're not missing another damn World Cup. This is not just about the World Cup. It's about Juventus, the players that are being utilized. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. But Allegri does not share your preference for youth. And that's where it sits right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm sure that'll always be nice and quaint and happy and pro our boy Max Allegri. Let me know that if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't become a community member of the channel, as well as consider joining the member squad. You get a lot of cool benefits. You can join us on videos, and you get access to our Discord. We have regular content or contacts with each other throughout the day. It's a really cool community we've developed there. Consider doing all that. If you haven't already, make sure you follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and you can follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter as well. I'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.